On February 1st, 2002, 38-year-old American journalist Daniel Pearl, the Southeast Asia bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal, is murdered by a terror group in Pakistan. Weeks later, a videotape of Pearl's beheading was released, shocking millions. On January 23rd, 2002, Pearl, who was Jewish. Now, I want to give the breakdown of how he was murdered. He was on his way to what he thought was an interview with a Pakistani religious leader in Karachi as part of his research. Researchers, be careful what you research, because some people do not even believe you're doing research. They believe maybe you are a spy, or you're trying to, you have an ulterior motive, and I guess that was what exactly happened to this person. So, as part of his research, he wanted to research the Islamist militant, but he was kidnapped near a hotel by terrorists who claimed he was a spy. I said it. I said it. The group, which called itself the National Movement for the Restoration of Pakistani Sovereignty, demanded the United States free all Pakistani terror detainees. The terrorists released photos of handcuffed Pearl with a gun at his head and holding up a newspaper. The group did not respond to public pleas for his release from his family or others. Now, U.S. intelligence failed to track down the kidnappers of Pearl, whose remains were discovered weeks later in Pakistan. So sad. The journalist's kidnapping and deaths received widespread media coverage. It's really so sad, honestly. Now, in 2002, a British national, Ahmed Omar Zahid Sheikh, was convicted of Pearl's murder. The Pakistani Supreme Court ordered his release in 2021, and in 2007, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed of the Al-Qaeda Global Terror Network claimed responsibility for Pearl's murder. Others have been connected to the journalist's death, including an Egyptian, which tied to Al-Qaeda. This is sad and touchy. We move on to the next one. In 2005, the Civil Marriage Act was introduced, making same-sex marriage legal in Canada. Next, we have on February 1st, 1978, the first African American woman to feature on a U.S. postage stamp. Part of the Post Office Black Heritage series is Harriet Tubman, an anti-slave activist and a Civil War hero. The fact that Tubman appeared on the stamp served as a symbol of the nation's efforts to include abolitionists on par with slave owners in its historical canon, as well as the advancements made in acknowledging the contribution of African Americans to the American history. Moving on, a singular event occurred during a halftime show of a Super Bowl on February 1st, 2004. While Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing, Janet briefly exposed one of her breasts in what was later described as a wardrobe malfunction. The performance was airing live all around the world. An estimated 143.6 million people tuned in. Jackson immediately moved to cover herself up, and CBS immediately cut away. Her breast was exposed on the television for less than a second, and many speculated and continued to assert that either Timberlake or Janet Jackson. They speculated that Timberlake and Janet Jackson acting together, or the event producer themselves, had exposed her breast on purpose as a publicity stunt. What a stunt. Why would anybody want to do that for a publicity stunt? Anyway, nothing is impossible, On February 1st, 1884, the first portion of the Oxford English Dictionary, known as OED, considered the most comprehensive and accurate dictionary of the English language, is published. Today, the OED is the definitive authority on the meaning, pronunciation, and history of over 500,000 English words past and present. Plans for the dictionary began in 1857. Wow, that's a long time. When members of London's When members of London's society, who believed there were no up-to-date error-free English dictionaries available, decided to produce one that could cover all vocabulary from Anglo-Saxon period to the present. Conceived of as a 4-volume, 604 pages work, it was estimated the project would take 10 years to finish. In fact, it took over 40 years until the final fascicle was published. Wow. So compiling the dictionary, not even the new version, it took them 10 years, and another fact said it took 40 years. So please, let's give it up for those who put together our Oxford English Dictionary, known as OED. That was a tedious work. Art Day is celebrated annually on February 1st. It honors face and body artists and exceptional artwork from around the world. Okay, now I know where that is coming from. At times when I go for shopping, I imagine where people got the idea of face painting from. Now, the holiday pays respect to the art of body painting, tattoo, piercing, performance art, and scarification. It also spread awareness that face and body art centers around the issue of gender and personal identity, and sometimes the relationship between the body and mind. Next, if you haven't read the novel Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Oh, I hated that novel. It was so large when I was in secondary school. I never finished that novel. Okay, now Robinson Crusoe Day is on February 1st. It's the perfect time to embark on this reading mission. Jeez. The novel was published on April 25, 1790, and was immensely popular when it was released, and it's a great work of literature. Hence, it's not a surprise that the popularity of the book brought about these days' celebration. I'm not a fan of reading books, fret not, but nonetheless, I think I would watch the multiple movie adaptations. So if you're just like me who waits to read books, like novel, you can't sit with novel. I read, but then not novel. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch the movie adaptation. Okay, today we celebrate the World Hijab Day. It's observed every year on February 1st to honor Muslim women who wear the hijab. It's also a day to urge women of various origins and beliefs to try on the hijab and see what it is like to wear it. So Muslim women maintain their modesty by wearing the hijab. Many also use them to safeguard themselves. Finally, we have birthday shout out going to, born on this day is Adetokunbo Ademola in the year 1906. He's a Nigerian jurist, the second Chief Justice of Nigeria. Was born in 1906 this day in history. He was appointed as the Chief Justice on April 1958, replacing Sir Stafford Foster Sultan, who was retiring. So birthday shout out to every wonderful soul born this day, 1st of February. We send loads of love to you right here on Flip TV, and we wish you happy birthday, because we cannot wish everybody, every celebrity, a happy birthday. We can't wish you all a birthday. So join me for another episode of a program This Day in History, and I remain Omolara.